Okay, now we're going to talk about the first step, and that's the identifying of the right type of partner you need. Now, when I say partner, I'm also including mentors. Everybody needs a mentor. Now, a mentor can be a living, breathing person that you can talk to once a week. It can be an author. It can be somebody who has done a YouTube video. A mentor doesn't have to be a live body. In fact, the person that mentored me, honestly, in the most important skill set for my success, which is the area of communication, was, in my mind, the best communicator in America. His name was Gary Smalley. And Gary and I would talk, many times we'd talk daily, sometimes we'd talk weekly, but we were always connected. He was always there. And so I could go to him and get his advice. And in fact, when I was about to do my first public speech, and there were going to be 5,000 people in the room, and I had started a speech. It was supposed to be a 20-minute talk, and 5,000 people, about 75% female, 25% male. And the bad thing for me is I was the last speaker, one of the last speakers. They had the best speakers in the country. They didn't have Zig Ziglar, but they had the other big names that you would expect. I mean, ginormous names. I was basically, I think somebody probably canceled, so the president of the company said, hey, can you fill in? Because I had a best-selling book, and he said, how would you feel about talking? So I called my mentor, and really my lifetime partner in the area of relationships and communication. And I said, okay, I've started this speech. I've got the speech pretty well down, I think, but should I start with something funny, a funny story, a joke? What do you think? And he said, well, what are you thinking about starting with? And I told him a story, and he said, oh, that's hilarious. He said, that would be a good start. But before you do anything, pick up a book. The book is called You Are the Message by a guy named Roger Ailes. And Roger hadn't started Fox News yet. But I had met Roger probably 6 months before this, and he and I had breakfast together in New York. And I said, I can't believe he wrote a book and he didn't tell me about this book. He said, yeah. He said, it is the best book ever. And he said, the good news is you don't have to read the whole book. Just read the first 2 chapters, and I guarantee you it's going to change how you start your speech. And you start it right, you got people, you know all the other things you're supposed to do. And I had learned from Gary, so I knew how to get people's undivided attention and so on, and how to keep their attention levels high. All of that was there. And so I went ahead and I went and got that book, threw away my speech, completely rewrote it, had a brand new start, and did something I would have never expected to do. And it was basically related to vulnerability and transparency. I told a story that I could never tell this story without losing it, without choking up, and without the tears flowing. And do you know, I started with that story, and every woman in that audience was teary as I got through it. And from that moment of that story, and I also started with one other thing that I picked up from this book, and they were my cheerleaders. These people wanted me to be successful at what I was doing. They were rooting for my, without showing it, but I could tell they really wanted me. They were supporting me throughout this. So it made it easy. And out of all the speakers in the week, I was told by the president of the company that I got and this is $1 billion company, I was told I got the only standing ovation. And the ovation went on for maybe 5 minutes. It was crazy how incredible. And it wasn't that I was such a good speaker. I had given them a message that was life-changing for them. And they knew that that day they were going to be able to put into practice some of the things I had shared with them. But see, who were my mentors for that speech? Gary Smalley and a guy that I had met one time that I didn't even know he had a book on it, Roger Ailes. So see how you can identify partners that don't become, quote, legal partners. It's amazing what you can do and how you can get a mentor. And when we talk about mentoring, I want to tell you about a man that did it the hard way, got a mentor the right way, but it was the hard way, and it made him millions and millions and millions of dollars. But when you hear what he did, it'll blow you away. And so I'll have to share that down the road. Okay, so let's talk. How do you identify the right type of partner? Number one, you have to have a clear and precise vision of what you want to achieve. Whether you want to achieve it in a relationship or a business or a side project or your career or something you're working on right now, you have to have a clear and precise vision. What's the first step in vision mapping? Getting a clear and precise vision. See, if you don't have that crystal clear vision, you can't communicate it. And if you can't communicate it, you can't identify the right kind of partner, and you certainly can't recruit the right kind. So that's the first step in this first step of identifying the right kinds of partners you need. Number two, you have to have an accurate self-assessment. That's why you took the personality test. Hopefully that showed you where your strengths were and it showed you where you're weak. My greatest weakness from a business point of view is detail. I am not detail-oriented. And you can't do a project well, much less extraordinarily well, if you're not attentive to detail, if you don't focus on the detail. So over my lifetime, I've learned how to partner with people. Honestly, as far as personality types, I'm aligned. I partner with beavers. So I'll get it done on time, but they'll get it done right. Okay, that's the value of that personality test. But it's not just your personality test. Maybe you don't have a passion for an area or a part of your vision that you're going to have to get accomplished. I don't have a passion for talking to bankers. I don't have a passion for setting up financing. But guess what? I had a partner in American Telecast who I think he was probably one of the best in the world at getting banks behind our projects. It was amazing how this guy could work. I could have never done that. You could have put a cannon right next to my head and say, we're going to fire it in 30 seconds if you don't go after that banker and recruit him. I couldn't do it. I was dumb in that area. So you have to have an accurate assessment of what your strengths are, and you have to have an accurate assessment of what your weaknesses are. Okay, number three in this, you have to determine the category of partner you need. Do you need a good communicator? Maybe you're shy. There are two personality types that are pretty shy when it comes to communicating, and there are two that aren't shy at all. The ones that aren't shy at all are the otter and the lion. So if you're a golden retriever, but you really have a vision for something, and I've known golden retrievers that just have a passion for something they want to create, but they're not necessarily great communicators. Okay, so guess what you can do? A, you can recruit somebody to teach you how to become a better communicator. B, you can partner with a good communicator. That's a much faster way if you can find the right communicator. Okay, so the category, what type of partner do you need? Number three, what's going to be their job? What are they going to contribute to your effort? You've got to clearly define that. If you can't clearly define it in writing, you certainly can't recruit the right kind of partner. So you're going to determine the role that partner is going to play. Number five, you've got to create a profile or description of that partner. I have a dear friend, and I've known her for 50 some years, and we've been she's married to one of my best friends, but we've known each other since college before they were married. And she had this incredible product that she invented. Great product. Man, I would have thought it was going to sell like crazy. But she recruited the wrong partners. She had a flaw. She didn't, one particular partner, biggest mistake. And she's told me that. I was just with her and her husband a couple of weeks ago, and she told me that was the biggest mistake of her life was partnering with that one person. And she had, I think, 3 partners, but this one just all but ruined their business. Okay, so you're going to create a profile on that. Now, we're going to close this with me giving you a list of 7 things for effective partnering before we go on to the next one. In our next session, we're going to look at how to identify the right type or the right person within a type. In fact, I'll go through these 7 things when we do that because it's more akin to that than it is to what we've just talked about. So we'll see you in our next session.